Welcome to Zero Budget Tech. My name is Robert. In this video I will show you how to make a bootable USB flash drive with Ventoy on Linux CLI. If you are going to be following along and creating your own Ventoy disk, you will need the following: a USB drive with a capacity of at least 8 gigabytes, a Windows or Linux ISO image file, a Linux computer with root privileged user. As a quick aside, if you want to procure a USB flash drive that doesn't suck at a reasonable price, check out microcenter.com and see if there is a store near you. I will leave links in the description below to some choice picks you can order online. If you do not yet have a Windows or Linux ISO file, watch our other video on how to download a Windows 10 or 11 ISO image, or head on over to ubuntu.com and download a copy of Ubuntu Desktop ISO now. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we'll get started from within my downloads folder, where you can see I have 4 ISO images for Linux and Windows. So the first thing we want to do is download the Ventoy tool. So we'll use wget and the URL, which you can find in the description, or if you go to their official website at ventoy.net, go to downloads, and then near the top you'll see Ventoy 1.0.96 Linux tar GZ, or whichever you're looking for, if you want the Windows, the Linux, or Mac versions. And that will take you now, recently it would take you to GitHub, but now it actually takes you to their sourceforge.net page. And you'll see the same files again listed, and you can choose it there on SourceForge and it will download. What I did was I went there and I downloaded from a graphical user interface, and then I went into my download manager, say in Firefox, and I found the download, and I just right clicked on it and chose to copy download location, and that's what I'm going to use. So I can download this here. You could always stick it on a flash drive and bring it over to your, to your server or whatever. Although if you have that option, you probably want to just run it in a graphical user interface, a desktop environment, as this is a little bit more labor intensive for folks who are not used to it. In fact, even myself, I'd probably find it easier just to do on a desktop environment. But sometimes you're in a pinch and this is what you've got. So this is what we'll work with. It will be amazing if I manage to type this out correctly the first time. Okay, moment of truth. That looks good. Sure is. Alright, so the tar.gz file, or as we commonly know it, a tarball, is compressed, kind of like a zip file. So what we'll need to do is untar the file using the tar utility. There we go. So now we should have a new directory in blue there, Ventoy-1.0.96. So we'll cd into that directory, take a look at what's inside, and in green we can see the one we're looking for there, ventoy2disk.sh. Before we run that, we're going to run lsblk to get a listing of our drive or block devices, and so that's what it looks like currently. I've only got one hard drive for the system, so now I'm going to go ahead and plug in my USB flash drive. It's a Samsung. Though usually I do use Micro Center drives. Okay, it's in. So we're going to LSBLK again just after a moment. And you'll see that a new drive has shown up at the bottom. SDB. It has no partitions and it is not mounted, as you would see the mount point there on the right. So that device /dev/SDB is what we're going to reference to write Ventoy onto. So, as I was saying about that Ventoy to disk.sh file up there, that's the application we're going to run. So we're going to do sudo, because we need permission for this, and then Ventoy to disk.sh, and to install for the first time on a drive is -i, and then the name of the device, so /dev/SDB. And I'm again going to take a look at my output from LSBLK and once again verify that SDB Bravo is in fact the drive I want to overwrite, because if I were to choose SDA Alpha, it may very well end up overwriting my system drive, which is where my root is mounted. And that would be suboptimal or even problematic. Anywho, carrying on, my special password here. And of course, it's going to give me the opportunity to check. So I'm looking at it again. Yes, that's what I want. In fact, it even gives you the name of the model there, Samsung flash drive. Awesome thumbs up there. That's great output. And then one more time, just in case you fat fingered and hit the yes when you meant to hit no. Alright, we're going to hit yes. And it's writing.
12 seconds later.
Successfully finished. Alright, so if we LSBLK again, we'll see that same drive, SDB, now has two partitions. Again, none of them are mounted. Let's go ahead and mount those up. So we're going to make a mount point, sudo make directory mount Ventoy. Okay, great, I already created that one. And then sudo, in fact we'll just use the previous output, mount dev SDB1. Just looking at the SDB1 or 2, I can see that SDB1 is the larger of the two, so I'm guessing that must be where my primary partition is, so we'll try mounting that. Okay, no errors, that looks good. So LSBLK one more time. It is mounted. So let's take a look at that mount point. Nothing there. It's as we would expect. So I'm going to CD up one directory back to my downloads where my ISO files are. So I'm going to pick one to copy over. So let's do a sudo copy Ubuntu. We're going to use the live server and copy that to mount Ventoy. And we'll give this just a moment so that it can copy over. So that appears to have finished. I'm just going to sudo sync to make sure that our cache has flushed, and then we're going to dismount. Sudo umount mount Ventoy. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we can see SDB has been written and it's now dismounted or U-mounted. So what I would do next here is I will show you what this looks like when we actually reboot the system and actually boot into Ventoy. So, oops, I'm not going to power off. Let's reboot. Boy, that would have been slow. Sudo reboot. Now here, I'm going to have to use F12 on my gigabyte board. Alright, so we get a one-time boot menu. Some machines do and some machines don't. I'm going to choose UEFI, Samsung flash drive. Hit enter. And there we go. We have a Ventoy menu. And of course only one option because we've only copied one ISO onto it. But you can put as many ISOs as will fit in that drive. Mine's a 32 gig drive. It showed as having 29 point something gigabytes, so we can put, you know, several ISO files on there. And in fact, if you wanted to, you can even organize this more carefully by having like a Windows folder and a Linux folder and a utilities folder, and then inside of that you could have like a Windows desktop and a, you know, put the Windows 10 and Windows 11 in there, and one for server, and same thing over on Linux, have one like for, you know, CLI and one for GUI, and again for like some other kinds of Linux utilities. Anyhow, let's go ahead and try booting. We'll boot in normal mode if that happens to work on this computer. Looks like it is. Try or install. Alright, looking good. So it is booting. Now that you have your bootable Ventoy USB flash drive, come back to zerobudgettech.com or watch our other videos on YouTube. Thank you for following along. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Feel free to leave us a comment below and tell us about your favorite way to install Linux or what ISO files you keep on your Ventoy drive.